Hello and welcome to Somewhere on the Spectrum. I'm Emma. Today I want to talk about what are your sensory strengths. I want you to try and find things about your neurodiversity that you can be proud of, that you can like, that you can enjoy. This is not very easy to do. One of the challenges with this is that for so long we have been told or felt like we were wrong, there was something wrong with us. And part of your recovery is coming to terms with the fact that your brain is just what it is. It's not going to change. You can never become the person that you dreamed of being. The first time I came to terms with that really hurt. So my apologies if I just whacked you across the face. That was not my intention. I think so many of us grow up trying to become something, whereas a lot of neurotypical people just accept who they are and go into life as they are and don't expect themselves to improve or grow many times. This is definitely not a global thing. This is pretty much a Western thing. Because we didn't feel like we fit, we often pushed ourselves to try and be better, to improve ourselves, to be able to fit. Often that was the priority, especially if you're a high masking person. So I have this lifelong, if I just do this, if I just learn this, if I just gain this skill or improve my ability in this situation, then I'll be accepted, then I'll be better, then I'll ... whatever you have. But ultimately, once you get your diagnosis or you become self-recognized, self-diagnosed, you have to come to terms with the fact that there is a version of you that is never going to exist. You are never going to be conversation queen. You're never going to be networking diva. That's not to say that you're not going to be party queen. You could be a totally outgoing person and still be neurodiverse. So there are parts of your personality that once you find your community may come out in a way that surprises you. Especially if you are an outgoing person, once you find your neurodiverse community, you may find that that side of you comes out in a way that you never expected. And you're suddenly a little social butterfly. Because the way that neurodiverse people communicate is very different to the way that neurotypical people communicate. We are all about truth and honesty and sharing information and learning from each other and accepting each other. Not everybody, obviously, not all autistic people are good. We have to acknowledge that this is the case. Whereas going into a neurotypical community, it feels like there's a lot of games. There's a lot of pretense. There's a lot of saying one thing meaning something else. That's not how we work. That's not how we communicate. So finding your people is a big thing. And that is something that can really help you feel like you can come out of your shell and be yourself a little bit more. So you might find that actually suddenly, maybe you're not so much someone who likes to be by themselves. Could happen. But there are still some things that you're never gonna be. And you kind of have to get okay with that. Like there's still skills that you can learn. There's still experiences and adventures that you can have. And I would say that the more confident you become and more relaxed that you become in who you are, the more that opens up the possibilities for that. But there are limits because we don't live in a world that's good for us, basically. That limit is very upsetting. And then when we hit that limit and we realize that limit, coming to terms with that limit, it can make us feel like we hate who we are. We hate being neurodiverse. We hate having a different brain. We hate sensory overload. We hate burnout. It can be really dark and difficult. So if you're there, know that you are not alone. Definitely not alone. Also, please know that there is a way out. There is an end to it. Don't let yourself get stuck down there because we don't have to live down there. Claw your way out. The thing is then trying to figure out what you can like about who you are without doing anything else. This is not about what skills can you learn. Of course, you can adapt that into your life. But right now, the thing I'm talking about is right now. Who you are right now. What are you okay with? You might have to start with okay. Eventually, we want to get to what are you proud of? What are you good at? What are you enjoying? But you might have to start with what are you okay with? Depends where you are. You can look for things like your justice sensitivity, especially right now. That's a really valuable one to look at. If you have a strong sense of justice. If you have a strong internal compass, write that stuff down. Write it down. What do you believe in? And then look around the world and see where everybody else is. This is something you can be proud of. This is something you can feel like, I'm glad that I have an internal moral compass. I'm glad that I am sensitive to justice. I'm glad that I believe that all people are equal and have equal rights. Lean into it, develop it more, get really passionate about it, talk about it in public. Lean into your acceptance of everybody and do it more. This is something you can be really proud of. This is something that will make a difference. It will make people angry at you. You will have interesting conversations with people. And sometimes you will hit walls where you want to punch people. Don't punch them, but it's okay to hit that wall. I don't mean literally. You can really hurt yourself if you hit walls. Find something else. Punch your beat back. I don't know. Anyway, look for the things that you can be proud of. Now, it could be things like justice sensitivity. That's a really kind of easy low bar for a lot of us to reach. Again, not all autistic people are good, so the sensory stuff can be a little bit harder. And part of the reason it's harder is because you might not know what your sensory challenges are. So then the next thing is actually paying attention. Where do you struggle the most? Is it loud noises? Is it fluorescent lighting? Is it weird smells? And then what's the flip side of that? If you really struggle with weird smells, how many things can you smell? How nuanced is your nose? And spend time using your nose. Get herbs for your garden, for your windowsill, and spend time sniffing them. Spend time appreciating and figuring out, what are these things that I'm smelling? Naming them. If it is noise, then use that. Do you have perfect pitch? Do you like singing? Do you like playing music? There's some amazing people online who play music and sing. I'm talking about autistic people. Some of them are not big speakers. Some of them are not making any videos where they speak at all. And some of them are completely nonverbal, but they're still sharing their music with us. And that is a form of communication that I can dig. And it's different because it's not coming to the world trying to fit anybody's social expectations. It's coming to the world via the brain of somebody who thinks differently. So it sounds different and it's very, very cool. So do that. Or for me, eyesight is a big one. So for me, this is a downside. If I'm in a pub, I'm going to be staring at the TV. If the TV is in front of me, I can't hear anything else that's going on around me. My eyesight will always take priority. It's a big problem. But on the flip side, I'm the first person to notice the birds in the sky. I'm the first person to find the squirrel in the trees. I can spot things that are lost on the floor. I can use this skill. And I can use that skill to calm myself down. If I'm overwhelmed, I can go outside, watch the swallows swooping, calm down the nervous system. Identifying these things about yourself and then leaning into them is a really good way to start feeling like I'm actually okay with this body and brain that I was brought into the world with. And what is the value that you're providing? Just you being you. Is it by itself? For sure, because you being you is showing a kind of person that other people might not see. And we need more and more diversity in the world because people right now suck at understanding nuance. So demonstrating the nuance that exists because we are here is one way to counter that. It does rather put us in harm's way, but it's difficult, isn't it? As a white girl from the UK, I have a huge amount of privilege. So putting myself out there because I happen to be autistic as well is much easier than someone who is in like literally any other bracket other than white dude. Everybody's different. Also consider your environment, stay safe. But lean into it is the point. Lean into it because it's going to make you happier, it's going to make you stronger, and it's going to make you more confident in who you are because there's nothing wrong with you. And so go find the things that work, find the things that you like, find the things that you enjoy. Use the senses and the brain that you were given for good and for yourself and to enjoy the time that you have on this planet. I hope that's helpful. Feel free to drop in the comment what is your sensory strength and how are you loving it? What are you doing with it? What's it doing for you? It might not be your sensory strength. It could be another strength that you get from being autistic. I would love to hear about that too. Please drop that in the comments. I do have a Patreon. You're very welcome to visit it. I'll put that in the description. On the Patreon, there is a gender and sexuality course. If you are new to what on earth does that mean for me and you're wanting to do some exploring, it's a good place to start. I also offer a half-hour meeting where we can talk about one problem that you have right now and how your autism might be affecting that, or a 1-hour session if you're being recently diagnosed or you've just come to the neurodiverse journey and you're really overwhelmed and you don't know any of the vocabulary and you don't know where to start. That 1 hour is for you to get you going with the relevant information to you and your situation. I'll see you next time. Have a great week. Bye.